What's up, you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody is still having a happy holiday week. Even if you had to go back to work, I hope you are enjoying the spirit of the season. I hope you are having a great week. So myself and y'all know who's here, honey. Girl, is that legal is here. We are going to break down this Thee Stallion situation, and we're going to get a little more insight on what's going on over there with Southwest Airlines. Okay, so y'all know I don't do the whole intro situation while when I have guests because I want to respect everybody's time. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her up. You ready? All right. Hey girl, hey, what's going on?
Good. I got my Actively Black on today.
I know that's right. I see you with your screen and everything. You got your green screen going and everything, girl.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to welcome Girl Is That Legal. We are streaming on both platforms again today. So if you are a subscriber of Girl Is That Legal, welcome, welcome, welcome. And the tribe welcomes you, and we, vice versa. So welcome you guys. And again, so how you doing, girl? How was your holiday?
It was really good. It was super relaxing, like, not super serious, but which was what I wanted.
Good.
And I was super excited because I helped my stepson make Christmas gifts for his mom and his mom's side of the family, and they came out wonderfully.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So that's really cool. That's really cool.
Nervous. It was like personalized T-shirts because he's a basketball player, and so I had him find his favorite photo with each of them, like him and his grandmother, his grandpa, his dad.
Aww.
And then we ironed it on to T-shirts for each of them. So it's like so cute.
So. Oh, that is, you know what? I love personalized gifts like that. And see, that's the kind of stuff they can wear at his games and
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
That is cute. Oh, that is so nice.
He calls me the
welcome to everybody coming in. Y'all know I'm not gonna necessarily do the individual greetings today, but welcome to everybody. A special shout out to my members. I had some. We'll talk about that when I do my tribe meeting. But I got some stuff coming for the members. I got some stuff coming for the members. Y'all be ready. In the month of January, we got some stuff popping off. I made a lot of phone calls today. I got some stuff happening in January for y'all. But welcome to everybody. So where do you want to begin? Well, first of all, let me just give you a little update before we get into that. I forgot to bring this up to you. But when you at your leisure, you could just look this up. You know Bishop Whitehead, child. You know I gotta give you an update.
Please.
He done evicted a church for some property he bought. Now, he bought the property a year ago. The church, it does sound like that the church has been squatting. They have continued to have church services there. And so I guess he decided that he was ready to renovate and use it for his church. So child, he just basically woke up one day and evicted them, threw all their stuff out on the street, changed the locks. Now he had the police with him, right? But when he went to housing court, or they took him to court, whatever, the judge sided with the church and said, you didn't follow the proper, and this is New York. So
New York doesn't play. It is so complicated. I've heard of people living in apartments in New York for like a year and a half without paying the appropriate amount because the notices were not correct and X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
Right. So I just wanted to throw that out there, honey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check on that update because I know Pam was covering it, but also when I heard that like he showed up to put them out, I thought to myself, I wouldn't be surprised if he just went and got one of his homeboys who, used to be a cop or is an off-duty cop and said, put your jacket on. Come on, we're gonna kick this church out.
I'm gonna tell you what, and I said this when I did my review, when we talked about him getting arrested. The mayor better watch his back. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna move on.
Agreed.
All right. Well, let's go down to Houston. Let's talk about this hot girl. Let's talk about my girl Meg. Okay. Hot girl.
So Meg's back in the news this week. The gist of it is that Meg has been in a lawsuit with. Can you hear me all right? I can move.
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
She's been in a lawsuit with her record label basically for the last 2 years. Now, let me see if I can put it on the screen. I'm going to get the crux of her issues with them. It's been very fascinating, actually. Let me see. Is it right here?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. This has been. And like I said, I hadn't read a lot of the contracts and stuff, so I didn't know all the specifics, but girl.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if it'll let me share my screen.
I see it backstage.
I added some things, but this one I didn't add because I hadn't downloaded. Let me see if it'll let me share a screen. I think it will. Okay, I think this will do it.
Let me share this out because YouTube be
I
playing. So while you doing that, I'm gonna share the link out that we are live.
sure will. Oh, perfect. It's this one. Great. Look at technology. All right. So basically, the Thee Stallion case is she realized she was in just a real trifling agreement with her record label. However, that's honestly it's common of people on the first, their first time getting signed to a label. So,
Right.
God, let me turn on this do not. Literally, as I was hitting the do not disturb button, a call comes in. But hold on, let me just make sure. Stop it.
Child, you busy. You listen. You making moves down there, honey. You making moves.
Girl. Okay. It should be done. Why won't it stop? Decline. There we go. Can you still see me all right?
I can see you. Uh-huh.
Okay, good. So the gist of it is Megan's contract was trifling. And what it seemed like is it wasn't until she got with Rock Nation for her management that one of the first things that a very good manager does is go over all of your contracts. Because as a manager, they need to know what your contract says so that they can
Sorry.
even
Oh,
determine.
sorry. Oh, what the hell? Sorry, child.
Yeah, so they can determine how they, as a manager, are going to get make money, and what percentage they're going to make, etc. So it is in their interest to make sure you have a good contract. So that's what happened here. They realized how terrible hers was, and that therefore she filed suit against them. Now, most recently, what happened is the record label is trying to get Megan's whole case dismissed. Megan's been doing pretty good in this case, and I am sharing my screen here because I wanted to show you. Let me see how big I can make it. This is Megan's declaration that she filed actually at the beginning of the lawsuit, which gives perspective as to why she filed. Now, the main part of it is that she explains that she signed to Carl Crawford and his label, which is 1501. She signed to them in 2018. Now, Carl Crawford is a former baseball player. This is not his area. This is not his arena.
Evelyn Lozada's baby daddy.
Exactly. And she was willing to allow him to be baby daddy for her simply because she knew he had a lot of money because he was a baseball player. So he had recently, around that time, 2018, he had retired from baseball, had all this money, all this savings, all this free time, and was looking for something to do. So he decided to start the record label. One of the big problems was what with him not knowing what was going on, etc. It was poorly managed. Now, he was not her manager, just her label, but it was poorly managed. And then he ended up bringing in Jay Prince, and Meg's claims that James Prince Sr., who's known, his crew is called Mob Ties here in Houston. She claims that he was threatening her. He was threatening producers that wanted to work with her. And very specifically, because of how powerful Mr. Prince is, that the distribution company that was supposed to put out her put out her album back in 2020 was refusing to release it. So that was like their first big thing. Was refused. It was complete. It was done. Well, their contract mandates that she give them, I believe it's at least 3 albums. So by preventing a release of a completely ready to go album, they're able to keep her imprisoned in the contract. And that is what initially started the lawsuit. I want to read this part to you right here. So she says, I associated with Rock Nation as management in September 2019. I did so after my mother, who had been my manager, passed away. Rock Nation has an excellent reputation and was founded by Jay-Z. She goes on to say, I was already concerned about the terms of my exclusive recording artist agreement contract with 1501, the circumstances under which the contract were signed, and the failure of the label to act as I expected when I retained Rock Nation. Basically, because there's been this narrative that Jay-Z kind of pushed his way in, and once Jay-Z started to represent her, that is when the problems arose. Like, she was perfectly fine and happy. Jay-Z put all this in her head. This is her saying, no, I had been unhappy. But it was the death of my mom that forced me to go out and look for management. So then here is the key. Let me highlight this. Make sure you guys can see it real good on the screen, right? You can still see it. Oh, it's not letting me highlight it. I hate these people. Okay, I'm gonna keep going StreamYard, but I'll just read it out loud. It does say thank you. It says basically she's complaining about the fact that she has not seen, and in the 2+ years she had been with them, she only received $15,000. She says here, this includes the fact that I have not received any accountings or statements or been paid by 1501 other than $15,000. This was the case even though my songs have more than 1 billion streams and I've sold nearly 300,000 individual track downloads. This equates to nearly $1 million equivalent, the equivalent of $1 million in album sales or $7 million in revenue. Girl, I'd be filing a suit too. I would be filing a suit too. So that's the initial suit. Now, fast forward to this week. What happened was the record label is trying to get her lawsuit kicked out. Now, one thing that happened is she first filed a suit in 2020, basically saying the terms of her contract were so unfair that it should not hold up in court. And Carl Crawford's attorney must have agreed because they went back to the negotiation table and negotiated a new agreement that gave her more of a percentage of sharing in the publishing of her works and different things.
Okay.
But they still were not compensating her. They still were not giving her. You're supposed to give an accounting. Like if you're not going to give your artist money, you need to give them a list of the reason why they're not making any money. And it should be itemized expenses. That wasn't happening. So fast forward, what they're complaining about now is they are saying that she has a publishing deal with BMI and Universal Music Group, and that they're collecting royalties for her that belong to Carl Crawford. I'm gonna call him Carl. It just makes it easier. Right. And that they shouldn't be doing that. And she's like, whoa. No, that's not the case. And furthermore, her issue is she's saying she should be out of her contract because she's delivered the album she was supposed to. Do you know they're claiming that Something for the Hotties shouldn't count?
Yeah. So how many albums was she supposed to deliver to them per that contract?
Clear, but I need to reread it again because I focused on their initial and her response.
Oh, okay, no problem.
It looks like a minimum of 3.
Okay.
She's saying she has delivered that. But what they're saying is no, her albums that she's made don't count. They're not good enough.
Right. That's because Something for the Hotties, they were trying to say was the EP. It wasn't a full album.
Correct. Now they sealed. What sucks is 2 years ago when I was looking at these records, they were not under seal. Now her contract is under seal. I'm gonna have to dig through. I had a different laptop. I'm gonna see if I could dig through that laptop and see if I could find her agreement. But now you can't. But I know that it was. I'm like 90% sure it was a minimum of 3. But whatever the number is, she's saying I gave you guys that, but you just keep making excuses to keep me under your contract. Well, the judge agreed with Megan. The judge said, the judge didn't say Megan was right and that Megan wins, but what she said is it's not so clear cut like the defense is saying. The defense is saying, Your Honor, it's so clear cut that Megan is wrong that we don't even need a jury trial, Your Honor. Your Honor, we just need you for this motion to just go ahead and grant it, because if you do, that's as good as us winning a jury trial, because it's called a motion for summary judgment. But the judge looked over everything and said, you know what? There are issues here. It's not clear, and it deserves to go to a jury. And that's all Megan wanted. She didn't want her case to be dismissed. She wanted it to go to a jury. So now a jury is going to decide, has Megan met her burden of the three minimum albums? And then they're also going to evaluate whether she took money that belonged to 1501 and didn't disperse their portion of it. Because I'll let you go ahead and
No. I was going to say, so I had two questions. A good question, make it make sense, put a good question in the chat. We know that new artists generally get these hard, like, and you said that generally get these horrible contracts. So is it, is this contract unreasonable for a new artist, or is it, is it like, well, because we know new artists, they get raped, but they get raped over the
Yes.
coals.
So,
I say RAKE, not the other word. They get raped over the coals. So
mhm,
is this a reasonable? I mean, based on that standard, because of
right.
course the record labels are like, oh, we're taking all the chances. You're nobody. Nobody knows who you are. We have to spend the money. Blah 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 blah. Was this a reasonable contract from the for that, in that context, that she was nobody and a new artist, or is this was ridiculous all the way across the board?
Great question. So my understanding is that no, okay, no, it was not a reasonable contract, but it was a standard contract
Got you.
for the
Got
music
you. Okay.
industry for those people.
Got
And
you.
and really the difference between Meg and the others is that Meg was brave enough to fight about it.
Hmm.
Everybody else, what you gonna do? Like, if you piss off your label, they're gonna do what they're trying to do to her, which is not let her release albums, not let her perform, and not let her make any money and keep her
Right.
enslaved, right? So
Right.
most people just shut the heck up, don't make any money. Hope that their label does enough to pay for a driver and put them up in an Airbnb so they can at least look the life. But no, it was, the terms are what labels try to get away with,
Right.
but it no, but they were totally unfair, such that that is why on their own they settled the first lawsuit by redrafting the agreement.
So
You know,
okay, so the second, Xavier brought up a good point, and I remember reading this somewhere, and I cannot say whether it's factual, but I remember reading that part of the reason why they were arguing that that her Heidi's album didn't count is because it was only 45 minutes rather than the 48 minutes that's in her contract. And her last, that's, if you look at the last two albums, the Traumatized, and then the one before that, I can't remember the name of it, with her on the, with all the different news things on the front, the one that has Savage on there,
uh-huh.
with a Savage remix.
Right.
That both of those run 48 minutes exactly, like almost to the second. So I mean, is that, again? I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read. Is that that's what the argument? Well, it's not 48 minutes, and her contract says 48 minutes, so she owes us 3 minutes. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's what they're claiming, but she had additional arguments. And I honestly, I've gone through, like, hers is like 33 pages, and I was trying to, like, I was pulling the exhibits. But what stuck with me, and that was the strongest, and which is why I believe the judge denied their motion, is because under the law there's something that's called estoppel. Estoppel basically means, but if you let this go on without saying anything about it, giving somebody a chance to fix it, then you don't get to complain about it now. Here, with each of those albums, they didn't complain until 2 months after one of the albums was released.
Got
And
you.
they had the entire album more than a week beforehand. They were, like, included on various correspondence regarding the album. They knew all the songs. They knew all that. Basically, they had more than enough time in advance to say, no, I don't
To
like it.
say this isn't good
Yeah.
enough.
But
Got
basically, they received it. It had been released. It was on the radio. One of the albums, at least, was on the radio, was being played for 2 months, making them money. She didn't get a
you.
dime from it. So you can't have it both ways. You can't
Right.
take all of the revenue and still say this isn't good enough, and you now need to pay to do it all over again. Where they
Got
do that
you.
at? Where they do that at?
I
I'm gonna,
got you.
I'm gonna
So
watch what Lovely T said. Someone was saying Lovely T was speaking. Yeah, I'm gonna watch her, whatever
yeah,
she
I'll
was
watch.
saying.
I haven't watched it either. I'll go listen to what she has to say too. But it sounds like Lovely T is arguing in favor of Carl Crawford.
It does.
From that point of view. And again, everybody listen, just like with the trial, everybody got their opinions. I mean, they got facts, there's opinions, and then we'll see what happens in court. But it sounds like the judge is sort of, I mean, like you said, it doesn't throw everything out, but it sounds like the judge is sort of leaning towards, hey, she did what she was supposed to do. I mean, it doesn't
Correct.
mean that that's how it's going to turn out in the end, but it sounds like the judge is like, okay, what do y'all want here? Like, what's going on here? Like, she did what she was supposed to do. Okay. Do you
Right.
think this lawsuit would have been? Do you think this? And I understand that she's saying, "Look, they owe me money because it was this many streams and it should have been this." But do you think that this lawsuit would have happened had she not been seeking to leave them and go to Rock Nation?
So here's the thing. I want to be clear. She was able to do that. They weren't managing her.
Okay.
And that's where she's, it seems like that's part of why she's super confused. So they weren't managing her. They were just her label. And in fact, it's generally a conflict of interest to have someone from within your label manage you,
Right.
because they're only going to do what's best for the label, not you. You have to
Right.
have an independent person.
Right.
But it was, I think it seems more like because they understood what a heavyweight, Jay-Z is in the industry, their fear is that he was going to manage her and then try and steal her so that they couldn't exercise there are options
They
in
were
the
losing their
contract.
meal ticket. They were afraid
Right.
of losing their meal ticket because
Right.
I know he has other artists on his label, but as of today, to my knowledge now, I'm sure the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but is she not their most successful artist at this point? That doesn't mean he
Oh,
don't have good
yeah.
talent, but that's
Yes.
basically the meal ticket right now, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Mhm.
There's Erica Banks, but she's not mainstream yet. And again, once again, like this is a large part of how Carl Crawford plans to pay for his retirement. This is his retirement plan, right? He's a former
Mhm.
athlete. He put his money together.
Yeah,
He
pay
put
that
millions.
child support to Evelyn.
Yes. Oh, but it's Texas, so it's capped at 2,500.
Uh,
So he's fine. Even though he was a multimillionaire or is. But yeah, so this is like his retirement plan. This is what is supposed to be his bread and butter. And so and it's also it's ego. If he has to make a strong stance with this first artist who's now trying to quote leave him, because if not, that will enable, or he probably feels it's going to allow other artists to come in and disrespect him or not take him seriously.
all right, hold on. I'm gonna go out and come back in. I was told I have a lag, so I'm gonna go out and come
Okay.
back in. All
I'll
right.
still be here, y'all. And
Okay.
as I'm talking to you guys, I want to find the best section to read you guys as to the summary kind of Megan's position compared to them. So they're saying Meg took their money, that basically Meg was supposed to give them a share of the publishing. They're supposed to split it. She gets some, they get some. And actually, they're saying none of it should have went to her in the first place. But that she took all of it and didn't give them any. Now, on her response, I'm still going through a component of it, but basically, I think a portion of her sentiment is, I still haven't been paid effectively. Like she got the $15,000 as an advance from them 4 years ago in 2018. But the rest of her money that she got she feels was her portion of the publishing rights. And that came from a third party, which was Universal Music Group. Let me look at the questions, see if I can answer anyone.
No, that's Mims being shady. Talking about Erica Banks will never be mainstream.
Bless her heart. Let me get back to this paragraph though. I want to read it to y'all. Hold on. Let me pull it real quick.
Okay.
It's her little summary. But yeah, that contract. And like it's just that, bless his heart, Carl Crawford just doesn't know what he's doing. So now I understand why he has now partnered with James Prince. But the problem is James Prince he kept running around telling everybody, you owe me money, that basically that Megan owes him money, and that anybody who does business with Megan is stealing from him, basically stealing from his pockets, because the money is supposed to be going to him, and then I guess he break her off her percentage, etc. Well, that is why even just in November, Meg won another motion. There, the issue was the label was not trying to allow her to do the AMAs, the American Music Awards.
I remember that. We talked about that over here on the channel. We talked about that she had to go to court to get them to allow her to perform her new music, I think it was.
Right. The judge granted it. But here's the crazy thing. I just pulled the records and it looks like she got that order, what's called ex parte, which means the other side didn't even show up to the hearing. They probably didn't know about the hearing until too late. All of the above. Because what happens is because it was an emergency motion. When it's an emergency motion, the judge will generally can make a ruling without the other side there, but then the ruling will only stand for like 2 weeks. Well, the issue was by the time that 2 weeks lapsed, that's after the performance. But part of the reason why she won that motion is there was no legitimate reason why a record label would not want their artist
Yeah, I didn't
perform at the
understand
AMA.
it. And
Other than
we talked about that on the channel. I was like, why wouldn't they want her to perform her music? That makes no sense.
they're going to, it's going to be real hard for them to win this lawsuit, because a part of it is when you're dealing with a contract, you have to operate in good faith, because there's a general presumption you guys sign me as an artist because you guys want to make money, which will enable me to make money. You don't assume that somebody is going to sign you and then intentionally put you on a shelf when you're the hottest person on their label. That's how we know that what they're doing is not called what's in good faith. Basically,
Right.
they're being trifling. Mm-hmm.
So do you when is I don't know if you have it in front of you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I know it's in January. Do you know when in January? I thought it was towards the end of the month, but I don't have a date.
For the
I don't
hearing
know.
or the trial?
Yeah.
No, actually, it looks like it is. Let me go to the first one. It looks like it's actually going to be next June.
Oh, June? I thought it was supposed to
Let me
be
see.
maybe the hearing. Maybe well, no, that's December. Okay. All right.
Yeah, let me see. It is. I think,
So does that mean she's stuck in this holding pattern for another 6 months?
it could be. Let me look here. Hold on, let me look again at this.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed
She
to
has
start next month.
3. She has like 3 case numbers, order signed denied.
Oh, okay. So it might be a lot of stuff, just a lot
judgment.
of stuff going on.
Yeah, there is. I don't see. Oh, here's the docket. Hold on. I can just look at the here we go, docket sheet. And it says, yep, docket set for trial. June 5th, 2023.
Huh. So something else must be happening in January, because Carl Crawford herself said on a live next month. So something else must be happening in June.
Maybe a
in
different
January.
hearing. Let me look. Yeah, let me.
I mean, you said she had 3 different docket numbers, so it sounds like it's a couple of things going on.
Yeah, it could be an additional motion that might be pending. Let's see. There are different things that got granted recently. 2022 order denying the partially judgment. They got a continuance. Okay. Scheduling order. The temporary order is now voided, but that's fine because she already performed. I think next month might be her deposition.
Okay. All right. Because he said January. He said so. Now that's a good point. Mims brings up when we go back to Drake making that song where he basically said Meg was lying, because Drake is connected to Jay Prince. He said Jay Prince is sort of like Drake's, he says daddy, but mentor, whatever. Very similar to what we think of Baby and Lil Wayne's relationship. So that makes sense, because I was always trying to figure out why is Drake in this? Like, why out of nowhere is Drake making songs about Meg? And it just seemed weird. It seemed way out of his business. Like,
Very
you have
strange.
nothing to do with this. But now that makes sense. If he's connected to Jay Prince and Jay Prince feels like Meg owe him some money and he has something to win out of, Meg being discredited, then it all makes sense now. It's all coming around.
Yeah, and someone was saying no, it's in January. Hey Bossy, what are you referring to the trial? I'm gonna show you the document that I'm looking at. So tell me if but the document that I'm looking at says
which one you want me, because it clicks on your screen, but it doesn't click. I have to click the one on mine.
Okay, hold on
which one? The first, second, or the third one? Is a slide? Which
slide?
I'm
uploading it right now. Hold on.
Oh, okay. So when you put it up,
this is the docket sheet preview. All right, so
it would be okay. Yeah, he did say they go to court next month. He went live to speak about the Tory trial and said we go to court next month. My attorneys stay in court. That's what they do, insinuating he's going to win. So yeah, just because they're going to be in court doesn't mean it's the trial. Like she said, it could be the depositions, it could be pre-trial hearings. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I see what it is. They have next month. It says January 9th. There is another summary judgment motion that's on the docket, as well as a motion to quash a subpoena. Basically, that means somebody is supposed to be getting a deposition or doing a deposition, and they are trying to prevent that person from having to do a deposition. Basically, that person doesn't want to.
So there's trial stuff happening next month.
Yeah, but
it sounds like he thinks that's going to basically result in what he wants.
He's so simple, y'all. I mean, he just lost this summary judgment motion. So, I mean, good luck to him. He could sure try.
He lost the AMA situation.
He's lost every single one of them. He lost the ability he wanted to prevent her album from coming out. He lost that one
Right. I
too.
remember that. I
So it's
remember
kind of
that
like
happening.
what has he doesn't seem to have won. As far as I'm skimming this, he hasn't won anything recently. But again, I'm gonna do more of a deeper dive so I can point out exactly what's going on. And I want to double check and confirm the number of the true reason why they're claiming that her albums are insufficient. Because again, it's
Right.
really strange that someone would file one lawsuit in 2020, literally come to an agreement. It's so rare that the talent and the label will renegotiate a contract that's only 2 years in, especially
Mm.
when that artist is super hot. That's when they get their most greedy. Unless they must have thought that, oh, shoot, if we go to trial on these terms, a judge is not going to, enforce them because something
Mm.
there isn't right.
Yeah, because like I said, I heard, and again, just because I read it somewhere don't mean it's true, but I read that the reason why they were trying to reject it is they were saying, oh, it wasn't long enough. And again, they were saying it was 3 minutes short. But again, if you're trying to get out of something, you're petty like that. And like you
Yeah.
said, you can't come back after the fact. You didn't let the album come out. You didn't went through everything, and now you want to say, oh, well, it doesn't count. But
Well,
again,
also
I just
they
think
have
that's some
the
maneuver to
ability.
try to keep her there.
Also, they have the ability to strike songs from the album. So you can't say it's too short if you've said no, this one can't come on, this one can't make the album. You don't
That's
get it
good.
back.
That's the other thing they were saying too, is that he's saying that basically she was just giving him anything just to, like, it wasn't good stuff. She was just, giving him, stuff that he
That's
had
what they
already
always say.
rejected, remixes and all of that. So that's what he was saying too. That's the other
Yeah,
thing he was
that's what they
arguing.
always say. And best believe he still is deducting those things from her, the money that he claims are due to her. So you cannot charge somebody for all of the cost of producing their album, right? To use it as the excuse for not paying them. And then say, oh,
Mm.
but this isn't of any value. So one, I'm not going to pay you for it. And you got to do it all over again. No, you should be more involved in the process as the label to say, I'm going to put you with the best producers. We're going to pay for this. We're going to take care of those things to allow you to put out a great album.
Because essentially what they're saying is you put an album together of songs we rejected, but we released it anyway. And now we're going to penalize you and say it doesn't count, even though we approved it and we released it. I mean,
Right.
essentially that's what they're saying.
That's like going to the store, buying a pair of panties, wearing them, and then telling them, oh, I want to return these. I don't like them. Well, no, you wore them. You made use
Right.
of them. I can't do anything with that now. And once those songs have been released, it's not like she can put them back in her vault and bring them to a new label once she's ultimately free, right? They're wasted. They're done. It's over. And most importantly, those songs could not be released unless that label approved them. And so that is ridiculous. Yeah, somebody said
Girl,
rock
all right. Yeah.
So yes, we got her.
Well, we'll see. We'll keep our eye on that one. So what's going on down to the Southwest, girl?
Oh, well, okay. So there's two things. If you have time, I want to definitely address
No,
Southwest
go for
and
it.
outline those options in a second. I want to share with y'all a little bit of legal tea. It's what I'm going to be covering on Girl Is That Legal next week that deals with some down south legal drama gossip. Okay. So first, let's talk about Southwest. I'm so disappointed in them. I'm not used to them being so raggedy, but because they were, I want to break down for you guys some of your rights if you are ever dealing with this hellish type of travel. Now, got my little list here. Now, the first one, I want to be really clear with everyone. I've seen and read different stories about people that had been stranded in these airports, right? There was some old lady who was stranded in the airport and was told it would be 4 days till they could get her out. Okay. First of all, if they are not able to rebook you, do not settle for a voucher. I made a reel about it today. Do not settle for a voucher. Even if your ticket is non-refundable, the law says if the airline cancels your flight, it doesn't matter the reason. If they cancel your flight, they got to give you money. They have to refund your original form of purchase. But here's the thing, airlines are lazy. So their default is to just give you a voucher. In fact, a lot of them during COVID started to automatically just release a voucher to you within hours of your flight being, like within 24 hours of your flight being canceled, whatever, because that was getting people to not call and ask for a refund. But you want to get your refund, right? Because with the vouchers expire. Your
Yeah.
own money doesn't. And vouchers limit you to that airline, right?
And it limits dates and availability and all that stuff. Like vouchers are a pain in the butt.
They're a pain in the butt. And as an attorney, I really encourage you, don't accept a voucher, because what happens is the reason they want the voucher is so they don't have to tell their shareholders they're messing up, that they're effing up. Because if they have to pay you back, they have to disclose that in their corporate statements and disclose it to the shareholders, because it becomes a loss. A voucher isn't a loss, refunding you is. So that's super important. Secondly, with that, okay, so that's, getting your money back in that method. Oh, also, they generally will tell you like, oh, well, we'll give you a voucher. If you do not ask for your money, you're not going to get it. Only because they're trained to just offer you a voucher. Makes sense?
And vouchers guarantee they don't lose money. That's in
Exactly.
Kenya.
That's
Vouchers guarantee
exactly
they
what it
don't lose money. Yep.
is.
Good
Exactly.
point.
Secondly, when you're doing this hectic travel, there are people who have been on hold forever and a day. When you call the airline, what you should do is hit the numbers for Spanish. The line is much shorter because all of those people are bilingual. You can't be hired if you're not. So that helps you shortcut it.
I never thought about that.
Hit that Spanish, Espanol. Mm-hmm.
You know what? I never thought about that. Look at
I
that.
do it all the time. Girl. I have time. I don't know what they say in Spanish, so I just be hitting buttons. But then somebody answers, and then I say hi, and then they're like, "Oh, hello," and we continue in English. Mm-hmm. So we have that. Then we have then we have baggage. All right. So there's 10 million. There's like not 10 million literally, but there are hundreds of thousands of bags that are now like running amok. They are in the wrong location. Sometimes the bags have made it to the destination. The humans have not. Let me tell you, here is the law in America on bags. If your bags are lost or delayed, you are entitled to up to $3,800. Say with me, $3,800. Yes, Hunty. Yes, $3,800. I'm going to read the standard to you guys. Yes. I have it here. Oh, here we go. Yes. Oh, but here's the thing, and this has happened to me before. My homegirl, it was All-Star Weekend, and the airline told her, we can give you $100, but that's all that we're able to do.
Shoot.
Let me lean in and tell you how they MF and lie. What it is that particular agent, that may be the maximum of her personal authority, and that any more has to be processed by corporate. Who cares? So here's what you have to do. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Now I don't know if it shares on my side.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, wait. Let me stop the share and then okay.
Because earlier you were sharing the screen and we couldn't see it on this side.
Okay.
But I put it up on because you had it up on as a slide. So I can see the slides and I can add the slides, but when you share your screen, I can't see it.
Here we go. Oh, okay. Well, real quick. So it's lost damage.
Okay, there it is right there. There it is.
There we go.
Okay.
So there you go. You get $3,800.
If you put it in the back, I can pull it up. Okay.
So it's $3,800. That's for domestic flights. It's actually less for international. But what you really should focus on is, let's see. There's a position in here. It goes down a little further where they elaborate. And this is for delayed or lost. Either one. Either one. And here's the thing. They are not allowed to give you some arbitrary financial limitation. Like they'll often say, oh, we're limited to $50. I heard that Spirit was doing that once for me. They told me they could only give me $100. Like I said, that is not accurate at all. They have to give you up to $3,500. Here's the standard. I have written it down. The standard though, is you have to be able to show, that your expenses are reasonable, verifiable, and actual, and that they are incidental expenses because you don't have your luggage. So what that would just mean is like, it would be your clothes, it would be shoes, it would be new Fenty makeup. If they've lost your makeup, get you a whole new makeup set. It would be, for example, it would be all of those kinds of things. And the thing is, the keyword there is reasonable. And reasonable depends on your specific facts. So let's say, for example, you were going to a New Year's Eve party and they lost your bag. Well,
Oh,
that
damn.
bag, let's say that bag had in it your Gucci dress, your Gucci shoes, all your fancy makeup, all your MAC, all your what's Abby's new line of makeup?
Exquisite, exquisite is well. No, it's noir.
There we go.
Vintage noir. There it is right there. It is right
Exquisite
there.
Noir, your exquisite noir makeup, maybe a breast pump, your waist trainer, your thigh high, all of those things are in your bag, and you go and you purchase new ones. They have to reimburse you for that, even if your bag shows up at the end of the trip. Because the whole point of you going on the trip,
What's for that? So, like,
celebrate
even
New
if it's like
Year's
a
Eve.
wedding or something like that.
Exactly. That's
Monique
one example.
Wilson, this is off of the U.S. Department of Transportation website. If you
Correct.
have the link, we can drop the link in the chat. But
Here,
this is directly from the U.S. Department of Transportation website.
it sure is. And so, any questions on that one? And then I'm going to show you my other favorite. I'm going to put this in the chat. I think I
She's
can.
gonna put it in the chat, Monique.
Actually, I have to put it in the private chat because I don't think it'll let me put anything in the
Okay, if you put in the private chat, I'll drop it in the chat. Yeah, okay, I'll drop it in the chat.
All right. So yeah, so that's the bag. I can't follow the comments and read as much, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you this is what I really want you to walk away with, guys, is the understanding there's a lot of myths about when an airline owes you a hotel room versus this and that. Okay. So let me move over to that real quick. And then we're going to talk about what do you do if, now that you know you're right, if the airline is acting funny and won't honor them. So here we go. Let me do the share. It is, I knew it was here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is my favorite. Okay, guys. So can you see it on your side?
I just added it to the stream now. It's coming up
Lovely.
now.
All right, guys. So when you're in one of these stalled situation, canceled, delayed, all of that, what you want to do is you want to come to this page. This is called the Airline Customer Service Dashboard. Now, what it does is it outlines what each airline has committed to giving you in the event of a controllable cancellation. Controllable means their staffing, their this, that, basically anything but weather. Now, first of all, before we even go to weather, be wary. The airline lies and will call things weather that are not weather.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that happened. A friend of mine who I think is in the chat, he was flying. He had a direct flight from Atlanta to DC. Was supposed to come yesterday, and when he got an email on Tuesday saying his flight was being canceled, he called me and he was like, "What kind of weather y'all having up there?" And I was like, "Sunny skies. What are you talking about?" And that was the first thing they said. They said due to weather, and he was like, "Well, they're saying that they canceled my flight because," and that was before all the news hit about how bad Southwest was because he was flying on Southwest. And I was like, it's not the weather. And of course, now we know it wasn't, but that's the first thing they told him.
Yeah, and that's because what Southwest does is it'll be one plane that will go, like, it'll go from Houston to BWI, then it'll go from BWI to Omaha, then from Omaha to LA, as opposed to going to hubs like other airlines. So if that first one gets canceled, it impacts all the others, but that's not weather. That's poor planning.
Right.
So okay, so going back to what you want to do is you want to look at this travel dashboard, and I'll just give you as an example. So like in this instance right now, for those people that are stuck the 4 days in the airport because Southwest is being ridiculous and don't have it together, here's what they would do. You'd go to this chart. Let me go back to it. Where was that? I was just on it. Make it a little bit bigger. Is it this one? There we go. Yeah, you go to this chart, and what it has up here is your carrier. Actually, you can do up here. So like click it here. You can just say, okay, I just want to know what's up with Southwest. All right. So if you're canceled on Southwest, they will, of course, rebook you for free on their own airline, not on their partner airline, but they do give you meals or cash if the cancellation results in more than 3 hours of a delay or for a new flight. And this is what many don't know. They give you a hotel. They give you a hotel if you're stay is impacted overnight. And they also compensate you for ground transportation getting to and from your hotel, right? But check this out. This is what I really want y'all to notice. This is the same chart, but in a more wide view. What was surprising to me is that all the airlines, even the raggedy ones, even Spirit and Frontier, give you meals if there's 3 or more hours of a delay or like
Oh
canceling your
Lord.
flight. Yeah. So they all give you a meal. But check this out. All except for Frontier will give you a hotel. Frontier is the only one that will not give you a hotel. So take that as you want, guys, as you are, trying to fly from, but even Spirit. And I know of so many situations with Spirit where people were stuck. But if you don't know this, you don't know to take them to this page and say, no, you promised the US government that you would feed me. Feed me. And you're going to house me. House me. Put me up in the La Quinta. You owe me. Because what the government did is, and so a lot of people are incorrectly stating on social media and otherwise that that airlines have to give you a hotel. No, they don't. What the government says is if there's a delay or a cancellation, all they have to do is give you a money refund. They don't have to do the rest of this. But the government said if they are going to have a policy that says they're going to offer something, then it has to be publicly known and available, and they can't renege. They cannot, just apply it in certain instances, like maybe only to first class or only to, the people who purchased a seat. That they have to do this, they have to create the policy, and then they have to have it in publicly available. That way, they are not able to change in the middle of a year and just be like, like Southwest is like, oh, well, we lost 600 million. We're not doing any more hotel rooms. Baby, you better give me my room. So does that make sense? Have y'all ever seen this? It's awesome. It's really
I had never seen that. And it's funny because now I'm thinking back on different situations I had with different airlines. And here I was thinking that they were being nice to me and they were really doing what they were obligated to do. I'm
what
thinking
they were
they're being
obligated.
nice.
I thought so too, especially with the food vouchers and stuff like that. I thought so too. And then last but not least, okay, if you do all this and they're not,
Thank you, Mims. In advance for my foolishness.
yeah, if you do all this and you feel like they are not promptly responding to you, then here is your ace in the hole, baby. You run and you tell Joe on them. You tell Joe on them, which means you file a complaint with the Department of Transportation. So the complaint process actually is really simple. And here's what I love about the complaint process. Let me see if I can share. I'm going to share that one last screen. Here we go. First of all, it's super easy. Filing a complaint with an airline, so there's multiple ways you can do it, but you can file it with the airline or a ticket agent while you're there, or you can do it here online. I say do both. Because you want a written copy. If you file it with the airline agent and she hands you a copy, that's fine. But if it's not in writing, remember, it didn't happen. The reason why this is so powerful is because federal law says once you make a complaint, they must respond to you within 30 days, acknowledging that they received your complaint, and they have to come up with a solution in 60 days or less. So I have a relative that used to work for American, and they said that these complaints, like when those came in, it was like all hands on deck, and it was a big deal because they could get fined by the federal government for not processing those complaints. So that's where you bring your complaint. Oh, also, check this out. When you do the form, let me see, go back to it. When you do the complaint, it asks you who you are. You can do it for yourself or a relative of a passenger. Boom. So like, if your man was supposed to come visit you, Crystal, or, anybody else, and they didn't, you can fill out one too. And then, because guess what? The airline, for the fact that they didn't bring your man to you, they may offer you some miles. They may offer you a voucher. They want to do those things to pacify you and to close out your claim so that they can meet their response rate as required by the U.S. government.
So let me ask you a question. Now, this is just for U.S. based airlines. This doesn't count for international.
Correct. These are
Okay.
your rights for domestic travel,
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
planes, etc. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I was reading today where and Volvo brought up a good point. One of the things that they're saying with the problem with Southwest is Southwest doesn't partner with outside
Right.
airlines, so they were even in a worse situation because you know how sometimes you fly with Delta, they might reroute you to United or
Right.
whatever, whatever. But because even though that model has worked for Southwest as far as their success model, it
Mm-hmm.
didn't work in this situation because they didn't have a relationship with any of the airlines, and the other airlines were gouging. The tickets were like $2,000 and $3,000.
Now they need to be in trouble for that, and there needs to be some type of a class action where people who were treated that way get their money back. Because whenever there is any type of like a natural disaster, that is a federal crime to price gouge, whether it's gas or anything else. And while this has not been declared a national disaster, it certainly is consistent with, well, the blizzard actually in Buffalo was. And so, yeah, you shouldn't be able to price gouge in these kind of
Well, I
instances.
said the same thing, but
Or,
because they always do that. The problem is they get fined on the back end, but in the interim, it doesn't help the people who were stranded the last couple of days. You know what I mean?
yes, but also, I don't know that this would work. But if you end up having to rebook on a different airline, right? Save those receipts, because I don't know that you can get compensation under the lost baggage provision, for example, or anything like that, to reimburse you for having to now buy a much more expensive flight. But at least
Or
save
get a rental
that,
car.
or get a rental car.
Because a
Yes.
friend of mine said that the airport by us, BWI, they
Mm-hmm.
said that the cars there were no cars.
Yes.
All the cars have
I
been
heard
rented.
that. I did hear that. And then last but not least, you give a call to whatever credit card you use to book your ticket. I accidentally found out that one of the benefits of one of my cards, it was just like a Visa signature card. I didn't pay an annual fee. I didn't do any of that. But one of them was, it included trip insurance. And so that
I just read that somewhere recently too. That Visa book your flights with Visa because Visa it's embedded. It's one of the
Mhm.
perks. Yeah.
Yes. And if you go, like, if you aren't even able to go out one way, and as a result, you lose your hotel, like, it covers all of that. So even if you have like 2 1 ways, it's
Wow.
super helpful. Yes.
Listen, I learned something. As much as I travel, I didn't know any of this.
Somebody said no more want to get away flights. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, listen, them Southwest flights gonna be so cheap next month. Once they get this thing straight, they're gonna be giving away flights because they've taken such a PR hit, and they trying to get y'all back, get all these Southwest people back. The other thing I was reading, Elizabeth Warren said that another part of the problem is because we've had so many consolidations of airlines over the last 20 years since 9/11. Prior to 9/11, flights were a lot cheaper, and I always talk about how cheap the flights were pre 9/11, but I also forget about the fact that there were a lot more options. The prices were cheaper because people had options. If you wanted to fly somewhere, you had I mean, I don't want to exaggerate, but you had a whole lot of options. And we also had a whole lot of those jets. Remember Ted? You remember the Ted?
yes.
I used to fly Ted all the time. I said, wait a minute, who's not flying? Because I was always, for those little quick, because I used to fly back and forth to North Carolina when I was still going to school and living in North Carolina. I would get those cheap flights. I would fly down to Miami. I would fly to Indiana.
Wait, I don't remember Ted. Was it like AirTran or no?
Yeah, it was in that same, and it was under, I think Ted was under United. I think Ted was named after the president of United at the time or something. It was an acronym for something, but Ted, and it was under United, I think. But those prices used to be like, you could get those. I mean, I never flew it for a long flight because it was those smaller, it wasn't no big plane. But if you wanted to go down to, like I said, from DC to Greensboro, I mean, they had flights for like, and Greensboro's a small airport. It's a very small airport, but you could get tickets for like $100 round trip. And that was back, that was, again, we're talking about 20 years ago, but.
So yes, and I thank everyone who's joining from Crystal's channel, from Really BTV. Please also, if you could, go over to mine if you haven't subscribed yet, which is Girl, Is That Legal?
Please, yes.
Head over to that one too. I'm trying to ultimately get monetized, of course. But I wanted to end with a little legal tea for you. This new case. I'll show you. I got the petition that we can put up to. Oh, yeah. I think
Okay, is that the other slides you have back?
is this one on the far right. I think they're actually both that say petition are the same.
Okay, let me see if this is the right one. Is that the right one right there?
Wait, nope, not that one. That must
Nope.
be Megan's.
Okay.
So far right.
Is it this one?
Actually, I'm gonna remove this one. It is now next. Let me hold on. Let me just remove the ones that we don't need. Label.
Okay. All right, let me take it off the screen. And you just
Okay. What? I can't even see this one. All right, try the one that says petition. Now, there we go. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna give you a little snippet. We're gonna do just a little snippet, but y'all, this is the case of Jerry Jones and his paternity test.
Oh, I heard. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So a wonderful, beautiful, brilliant Black judge in Dallas County, she ordered Jerry Jones to take this gosh darn paternity test. He has been running from it from at least the lawsuit was initially filed in 2021. But I'm gonna just give you kind of the tea. Let me get you. Oh, I gotta give you this tea. I was just like so shocked. So today I just want to kind of tell you the tea and the facts. And then next Thursday, I have a Texas family law expert. She's gonna come on my channel, and we're gonna break down all of the illegal shits that Jerry Jones has done in this case.
Oh,
yes. And also let you know and help make sure you understand what your rights are. One, if you don't want to find out who your pappy is, a lot of people don't realize that you could be 60 years old and you could have someone ordered to take a paternity test under the proper set of facts, because we all have a right to know who our pappy is. So here we go.
Who is that pappy?
So this case is about basically, so back in 1996, this woman named Cynthia was working at the airport in Arkansas. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, is from Arkansas. So he would fly through there all the time. She was like an American Airlines gate agent. So she was estranged from her husband. She was married at the time, but she started doing it to Jerry. Well, she gets pregnant.
I'll be right back.
Okay, she gets pregnant, and her husband says, "That ain't my baby. I don't believe it." And they go through a divorce, and he demands a paternity test. Only because the paternity test came out and said the husband was not the father, did that woman then realize, oh gosh, this must be Jerry Jones's baby. Of course, at that point, the baby was born. That baby's name is Alexandria. And she is the one who has filed this lawsuit to force Jerry Jones to take a paternity test because she wants him to be proven her father. And what does Jerry Jones want? None of the above. Because, of course, he was married to his wife during all of this. Now, here's what's really interesting. You know, Jerry Jones thinks that he's about what and what with God, if not superior to. Jerry, the woman was so embarrassed and terrified and really thought it was her husband's child because Jerry lied to her and told her that he had a vasectomy. So she's over here thinking, oh, there's no way this, older gentleman, he's 80 now. In 96, he would have been what? In his 60s or something like that. Whatever. 60s or maybe 50s. But so Jerry Jones lies to her, doesn't use protection, gets her pregnant. Her husband is like, hell no, I'm not paying for this. So Jerry then, he gives the mother some money. But here's the thing. I want to be clear. This lawsuit is not about money. The little girl is now 25 years old, and she's seeking what's called a declaratory judgment, which means she's asking the court to give her an answer about a legal problem. She wants the court to force him to take the paternity test. And secondly, come to find out, he's never taken one this whole time. Instead, what he did is he knew good and well that was his baby. It's my understanding that the mother actually may be Hispanic, so the child is biracial. But he knew that was his baby. And back in 1996, what he did was he gave the mama $27,000 to pay off her divorce. Tell me if this sounds like somebody who don't think it's their baby. He gave her $27,000 to finalize her divorce. Real quick, real quiet. Gave her another $30,000, mind you, 1996, so that was decent. $30,000 to get set up in like a new apartment and stuff with her and Jerry Jones's baby. Then Jerry had her sign an agreement that said you can never, ever, ever tell anybody that I'm the father, and you can never petition, you or your daughter can never petition the courts to force me to take a paternity test or in any other way be determined the father. So the daughters filed this lawsuit to say, hey, Your Honor, I need you to confirm that I, who was a baby, should not be held to this contract that was signed on behalf of me. That's not fair. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, well, still, like, you sure all you want is this man to take a paternity test? Baby girl, I don't know that I believe that. And then I read further. The gist of it was part of the agreement with her mother is he also gave her mother $350,000 at the time that she signed the agreement, saying she'd keep it all confidential, and set up a trust fund for the little girl, who's now 25 years old. So the girl has received one of the trust fund payments, but the trust fund money, exactly, Pam, you cannot make a contract on behalf of a kid, and especially one that is so fundamental that says this kid could never find out who her father is. It gets even juicier. Part of the reason she really wants to know, she's got cancer.
Oh.
Yet
Jerry, this is not about money. This is about trying to find somebody that can maybe do a donor or something.
Sure could be, because he's got siblings. I mean, he's got other kids. He's got all of that. And now she does have, let me see. He did do, yep, he gave the mom $27,000 and another $30,000. But then, here we go, the next page. I'm going to show, he did set up a trust fund for the little girl. We don't know, it's unclear the total amount of the money that's in it. However, the money is to be dispersed at certain ages. So, hold on a second. Those ages were, it was, here it is. It says, in turn, the distribution trust was established to, quote, provide for certain monthly, annual, and special funding. He paid for all of her college. She went to SMU, which is in Dallas, where he lives, right around the corner from him. She's never met him in her entire life. And with the trust fund, it stated that once she got 21, he would release some money to her, and it would provide, for annual payments, and that she would get another lump sum at 24, 26, and 28. However, it states that if she is to declare publicly tell anybody that that's her dad, or even petition for a paternity test, she loses her trust fund.
What?
So the court, this whole lawsuit is asking a judge to say, hey, is that even fair? And basically, girl, is that legal? And the answer is hell no. But Jerry Jones thinks he's above the law and he can do any and everything that he wants. And here's the craziest, the part of the twist too, is what a lot of people don't realize is it is illegal to make it is voidable. If you make an agreement that says, this is what I'm going to pay in child support, it's voidable, meaning if she were my homegirl, I would tell her, go ahead, take that $350,000, sign this, do this, let him get you an apartment, da-da-da-da-da. And then if you want to, you can take him to child support court when the child is 5 or 6 or whenever, because those secret agreements do not stand in court. When it comes to a child, a court has to order the child. Now, you two can come to an agreement, but a judge has to recognize it. And you cannot tell somebody, you cannot tell someone that if you ask a court to confirm I'm your father, I'm not paying. That's, we call that void for unconscionability, but that's basically what he's trying to do. So we'll get into that. But I just want everybody to know, like,
Crazy.
because I know of people, I have homegirls where like their baby daddy, let's say he was a big old drug dealer or whatever, he gave them a lump sum and told them, now don't ask me for nothing else. And they thought they really were bound to that lump sum. No, you're not. Now, he would get an offset credit for the amount that he's given you, but I don't care if he's giving you $1 million. The child support belongs to the child. As Pam is saying, that is right. Parents cannot contract away the child support because it's not theirs to contract.
And that's interesting because when we were talking about this case on my channel the other day, that was the conversation we had. Because again, we were thinking, is it the money? And I was like, well, at the least, she should be eligible for whatever child support that he owes her, compounded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now, I mean, it's even deeper than what we originally knew. Wow,
Right.
this is
Because,
crazy.
yeah, because initially they were just, it was like it was like kind of like, why are you asking now, 25-year-old? And oh, it must be just about the money. But it sounds like, no, she really wants to confirm if this is in fact her dad. Now, the signs all show that he probably is, the fact that he's gone this far. But y'all, let me tell you how it came. This is my final part on this. Let me tell you how it came out. Oh, this is such trash. I can't wait to finish my TikTok. It came out because he has only one daughter, he claims, his daughter, Charlotte. She is actually the one who is in charge of and the CEO or whatever of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Well, Charlotte and her husband, Shy Anderson, are going through a really nasty divorce. In their divorce discovery, Shy lists the mama, whose name is Cynthia, as a person who should be deposed. Basically, Jerry Jones's son-in-law is trying to out him. Yes, and listed the mama and as somebody that needs to show up for the deposition and subpoenaed her.
Ciao.
And then Jerry Jones came and said, if you show up at this subpoena, I'm ending the trust fund. I'm not giving that baby nothing else. It's over. You're not getting a dime out of me if you show up. Well, you can't do that either. Pam, tell them if you're still in the chat.
First of all, hey Pam, girl, welcome. I checked on you to make sure you made it home safely, girl. She was stranded in LA because Pam Pam wanted to see the verdict, right? And so she kept extending her trip for the trial. And then she got stuck because that's when the storm hit and she couldn't get home.
Oh boy.
I don't know if she made it for Christmas or not, but I know she was still and I know she was still in LA on the day the verdict came in last Friday. So I don't know. So Pam, I hope you made it home for Christmas, girl. I hope you made it home for Christmas.
Yes. And Bossy is making a good point. She said, but if she's graduated, he doesn't have to pay her anything anymore. It depends. In Texas, you have 4 years to go for like back child support, basically. So technically, someone at 21 could still get, what is that? 4 years? 18 plus 4, 22 could get back child support. They could do that. But secondly, here, her issue is not trying to get child support because it likely would be lower. Am I freezing?
No, Pam said she didn't make it home. She was in LA until Tuesday. She did not make it home for Christmas. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. That's a sidebar. I'm sorry.
That's sad. The issue here is she wants to get paid the rest of her trust fund. That's her issue. She wants to find out who her father is, but not at the expense of losing the trust fund. So she's asking the court to say, one, make this man do a paternity test. And the court just ordered, the black lady lawyer just ordered him to take the paternity test. And he just filed an appeal. That's how much he does not want to take this test. He's appealed it. So now it's going to have to go up to probably the state Supreme Court. And then she wants the court to confirm that it should be unlawful to tell somebody the contract is contingent upon you not exercising your legal right to find out who your pappy is. Are you kidding me?
Me think thou protest too much.
So yeah, That's a lot. I want to blow your brains apart.
No, that's a nice bonus because we hadn't even talked about Jerry Jones, but we did. Like I said, I did talk about it at our tribe meeting one day this week, child. We talked about it, and again, we in the tribe got our law degree from Law and Order University, so we be trying to piece stuff together. But I did say that I didn't think that whatever contract her mother signed, she could be held to because she was a child.
Yeah, only till 18. That's how come, like, you'll, like, at a doctor's office, sometimes it'll say if minor, have the parent sign.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if you're a child actor, I'm just throwing this out.
yeah, that's
If you're a
exactly
child actor and you were a child actor,
yes, yes.
and your parent signs you into some crazy, it don't even have to be crazy, but just signs you into a contract.
Correct.
At 18, that contract is automatically void, and
You have to affirm it. You have to affirm it. If you don't affirm it, they can't hold it against you. At least in Texas.
And you affirm it at 18.
Yeah, basically, you need to sign a new contract. You need to renew it.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yep.
Kenya said he is literally the definition of you are too old for this.
Kenya, you are so right about that. Yes. So
not my daddy don't want me the Jerry Jones story. Y'all are cutting up. You know, my chat get the cutting up, child. They get the cutting up.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm gonna let you guys keep talking. I gotta get ready to leave the house, but I had a great time, you guys. Thank you so much, and head over to Girl, Is That Legal? And subscribe.
Yes. The link for her channel is pinned. So y'all please make sure that y'all are subscribed and y'all go on over there and watch some videos because she got to subscribe, but she need the watch time.
Yes.
So y'all going over there now. Listen, her last interview. Well, I don't know if it was her last interview, but a couple of last week. One of the newest members of Ready to Love that will be premiering next week is also one of the attorneys for Shanquilla Robinson. So she interviewed her. So you guys definitely go check that interview out. There was some good information. And again, you guys, she's on the newest season of now. Before anybody starts talking trash, y'all know they had already filmed that season, so don't be saying how she got time to be dating. She need to be bringing Shanquilla's bring her to justice. Child, they had already filmed it. They already filmed it. All right, Simone, thank you so much. And look, I look forward to talking to you soon, love.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, you guys. So Pam, thank you so much. I'm glad you made it home safely. I'm sorry you were stuck so long, but you did have some family there. So hopefully you were able to at least be with family. Thank you for helping, with dropping your gems from the chat. I hope you guys picked up something. Now listen, Tracy dropped the membership link in the chat. I am getting ready to have a members only live in about 15 minutes. I owe y'all that. I got some stuff to tell you. There's some stuff coming down the pike for 2023. I'm going to give it to y'all. I'm going to give y'all that tea. Y'all about to learn what really B been working on. You're going to learn about some things I done had going on behind the scenes and what I have or what my vision is for 2023. So if you are a member, just be on the lookout. The members only live will be going live in about 15 minutes. So pay attention to the community wall because I have to put the link up because StreamYard won't let me make it a members only live, and I want to do it through StreamYard. Well, actually, I don't have to do it through StreamYard. Just be on the lookout, child. We're going live in about 15 minutes. Okay. All right. I'll see y'all in a few. Oh, well, yeah, I can do that. I can do that in the members only live. I'm pulling another name out of the box. But we do that on the members only live because it's for members. So thank y'all so much for being here. You guys are going to get, I told y'all would get reviews last night. It didn't happen, but you will get reviews tonight because after I do the members only live, I'm just going to be doing reviews for the rest of the evening. Okay. I'll talk to y'all later. Mwah! Peace.